Well, what better way is there to start than saying Happy Independence Day, Nigeria? Yes, of course, it is Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary, and it's a pleasure to be back here doing what we love to do best. It is Flipside on Independence Television, and it's my pleasure to say welcome on board this beautiful episode of the show. Yeah, it is Independence Day, and of course, you know what that means. It's that special day where we get to, celebrate our Nigerian heritage, the fact that we've been free from colonial rule for the past 65 years. And of course, I know some persons will tell you that we really do not have much to celebrate. But hey, like I said this morning on my WhatsApp status, hey, you really do not have a choice than to celebrate. Even if you don't have anything to celebrate, at least celebrate the fact that you are a Nigerian and you're alive. There are so many persons that witnessed the Independence Day, that's the day Nigeria gained independence, that are not alive today. So those of us that are alive, I believe we have every reason to be thankful to God. My name is Harry Aigboje, and it's my pleasure to have you join me on this episode of Flipside on Independence Television. Now, today being Independence, we have a very interesting conversation, to examine something that has to do with Nigeria at 65. Now, a 65-year-old man is not a child. You'll agree with me. There's an adage that says that a fool at 40 is a fool forever. So if you've clocked 40, as a matter of fact, I think the benchmark has reduced. Nowadays, you don't have to get to 40 to know that you are a fool, with all due respect. At a certain age, you already know that certain responsibilities and certain expectations, are attached to you. So whatever it is you're doing, certain things are expected of you. Okay, so as a country, as a people, we ought to have gotten to a certain stage where certain things shouldn't be mentioned or shouldn't be heard of us. Okay, so today we're looking at Nigeria at 65, the journey so far and the way forward. And of course, to do this with me are three amazing gentlemen. They're already seated, and of course, they are not new faces. They've been here a couple of times before, and they are indeed ready to start firing on all cylinders. Seated at my extreme left is Mr. Kingsley Ikeke. He's a clergy, at the same time, a public affairs analyst. Good to have you in the house, sir.
Good to be here.
You're welcome, sir. It's been a while. It's been quite a while, sir. Okay, now seated next to him is someone else who happens to be very passionate about social affairs. He's someone who also mentors a lot of young people. He is a social impact commentator, and he goes by the name of Favor Sadze. Welcome on board, bro.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, it is indeed a pleasure to have you on the show. And last but not least is someone who is also very passionate about Nigeria. He loves Nigeria, and he loves to be a Nigerian. And he has this burning passion to see a better Nigeria and a better society. He is an NGO convener, and he goes by the name of Nazarite Nnamdi Chukwuemeka. Welcome on board, sir.
Thank you. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence. Yes, it is a special day indeed, and I don't know, the look on our faces doesn't quite reflect that it's a happy day. But let's begin. Let's begin like this. When you hear independence, what comes to your mind first? I don't know who would like to take the first shot. Maybe I should begin with you, Mr. Kingsley. When the word independence is mentioned to you, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Okay, thank you very much, Harry. I think simply put, it means freedom. Literally speaking, independence is actually a state of being free. Free from control, free from interference, free from subjugation. It could also mean you are now a sovereign for a country, a sovereign nation.
Okay.
That means you are free to enact your laws. You are free to decide how those laws are implemented. You are free to administer your affairs. You are free to do a lot of things. It means everything now lies at your beck and call.
Beck and call, okay.
You are now said to be responsible for your actions. When we say you are independent, it still means you are not dependent again. But if we look at it literally, it's really hard for anybody to actually be independent as it stands currently. There are still some interdependency. But when your independence looks more like you are still highly dependent, then you now ask yourself, are you truly independent? That's the problem.
Okay, Favor, is that the same impression you get when you hear the word independence?
Yeah, it's not far from what he has already said. I just to add to it, I think it also incorporates some level of accountability. Yeah, so one thing is for you to be free. The next question is, are you accountable for the level of liberty or freedom you enjoy? So there should be a level of accountability.
Accountability. Okay, so with freedom comes accountability.
Yes, it does.
All right, Mr. Chukwemeka.
What I just want to add to what they have said is you were also free to manage your resources.
Okay.
So
beyond just administering your own affairs, you should be able to control your own resources.
yes.
Okay.
So you have freedom on that.
Okay. Now let's take it a notch higher. Now, looking at our current state of affairs, do you think the fight for independence, the independence that we got in 1960 was worth it? Looking at the current state of affairs, taking a look at the things that we're experiencing at the moment, do you think the fight for independence was worth it after all? Mr. Kingsley.
Okay, thank you, Harry. I would have loved to start from. Because somehow, in the earlier time, yes, it was worth it.
Okay.
I think from the 60s to maybe the mid-80s, it was worth the while.
Okay.
But, in the course of, the years, spilling over, we found out it became like a problem. And we started wishing the people who left us never left.
Oh, really? How so?
I think certain things now crept in. And one of the major things was corruption. And we cannot say that we are better off. I want you to understand something when I say things like that.
Okay.
Did you know that Nigerians still leave this country to South Africa in the name of Jakpa?
Greener pasture.
As a fellow African country who were recently liberated. At least we had already gotten knowledgeable when they were still in the apartheid regime.
Isn't South Africa even too far away? Even as nearby Burkina Faso,
Okay.
Ghana, and the rest of them.
So it means the whites who were resident there did a better job. And that's why South Africa is still one of the largest economies currently in Africa.
In Africa, yeah.
In spite of our population, we are not the largest economy in Africa, if you don't know. That was not the case before, but that was the case currently.
Yes, because there was a time Nigeria was adjudged the biggest economy in Africa.
So we are not, it's not looking as if we are doing so well. It's as if we should be recolonized. I mean, we should go through the process again.
Colonization.
I say that with all due respect to our leaders. Because when I see some things that we do as leaders within our country, it's as if we don't have the interest of the country at heart.
At heart.
You can't be moving your resources, like I said, control of your resources. You can't be moving your resources with no proper monitoring to another country. Currently, there's a conflict between the Dangote Group and Pegasus.
Yeah.
And we know that the Dangote, to a large extent, has come to minimize the importation of petroleum products.
Oil, yeah.
You take your raw crude, your resources, you send your raw crude abroad, and people refine it and send it back to you at a more exorbitant price. There's no wisdom there. Prior to this time, we had functional refineries. Maybe that's why we're better. But now, all the government-owned refineries, none is working.
What exactly went wrong? What changed?
As I said, majorly I think corruption crept in, tribalism crept in, religion crept in, and as long as these divisive concepts are still there, I don't think we can make much progress, except it is resolved. Nobody stands in isolation or stands in disunity and succeeds. No tree makes a forest. The strength of everything is in the number. If the number is one, there's a place in the scripture where even God himself had to hold a heavenly conference because the people, they said they were what? Of one mind.
Tower of Babel.
And God was now saying, we need to go down to meet these people because what they have proposed to do, have you ever imagined what they wanted to do? To build a tower
Reaching to heaven.
that will meet God wherever God is seated. And God himself, I don't know how far the heavens are. You know, if you are taking flights, you hear 40,000 feet above sea level.
True. I mean, for God to have intervened, it must have been something really
And
serious.
God now said, what they have proposed to do, he said they will succeed. And one thing that was unique about them was the oneness of utterance, of purpose and vision.
Yeah.
And the only way God could stop them, because that was not the vision God actually gave to them, they gave themselves that vision though. The only way God could stop them was to come down to create a change in their what? Their tongue and their languages. And as soon as they could not comprehend each other, the vision died.
Yeah.
Until we get back to understanding the mystery of the Tower of Babel, we'll still be struggling. I think it's a big problem for us. We see ourselves as rivals. You're not my rival. You leave your country to a country that is not even your place of birth, and you are comfortable, you are safe, you are well paid, you are well catered for.
Yeah.
Medically, and you came from somewhere. And human beings like you made the place where you are running
What it
to
is.
the way it looks,
Yeah.
that you appreciate. Then it means something is wrong with your place. I want to say this very emphatically. If they give us a chance, say, let those in the US come to Nigeria and let all of us here move to the US. If it's possible, I can assure you, in less than 6 months, those who left to the US will be looking
back
for
to
a visa to
come
return
back
back
to
to their
Nigeria.
village. That is just the truth.
It's a sad one because
a very sad one.
because like you rightly said, the Japa syndrome is not born. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's a reason a lot of people are now agitating to leave the country and all of that. But in favor, I'd like you to speak more to what he just said about the rival syndrome. Why does that even exist in the first place? Because we aren't supposed to see ourselves as rivals. As long as that mentality exists, we really can't achieve anything, don't you think?
Yes, very well. I think every factor of this consideration, it's about the state of our minds. For an average Nigerian, I may be wrong, but we can check the facts, is oppressive. An average Nigerian is intimidating. And an average Nigerian loves show off. So if you now put all of these into check, you realize that what I'm trying to do today, I'm not doing it because I like you. I'm not doing it because I want the good of my neighbor. I'm doing it because I want to be above my neighbor.
So does that in any way reflect the I better pass my neighbor mentality?
You just said it. Because, okay, how do you explain you run to someone for help and the person has finished helping you, and somehow, somewhere, the person is also requiring you to serve longer than the help that was rendered. And when you don't, according to them, they say you're not loyal. How do we, match all of these?
And how do you even quantify loyalty? What's your definition of loyalty?
What the person is only saying is, you're not my slave. So when people cannot control you, it becomes a problem. And when that problem comes, they find every way to bring you down lower than them. So for some persons, they want to remain at the upper strata, while we have majority at the lower strata. That is what we see in the leadership of the state today. That's what we see in governance today. Some persons would rather loot for unborn generations because they feel their posterity is supposed to always be in charge of the poor and the subservient of the society. Rivalry, unnecessary. So like I said, we have to go back to our minds and clean it up. It happens in the church, it happens in the society, it happens in schools, it happens at workplaces, it happens everywhere you go. And that's why sometimes you realize that you're taking a bus and you're about to enter the bus and someone is by the edge and you're telling the person, go inside. The person is telling you, no, I will not go inside. What are we competing for?
As basic as that.
As basic as that. So we don't even need to go to Aso Rock or we don't need to go to Abuja. Just right there at that small mini bus, there's oppression.
All right, Mr. Chukwuemeka, what do you think is responsible for this mentality? Don't you think it has, a thing to do with the diversity that exists between them? For example, there is religious diversity. Okay, there are Christians, Muslims, and all other, religions, and there's also ethnic differences. I mean, I think Nigeria arguably has the highest number of ethnic groups in Africa. So, don't you think all of these things are the reason we seem to have these, this divisive syndrome amongst us?
For me, I don't think personally. If I could even, do I call it digression right now? For me, all this thing boils down to a large extent to the home
front. Okay.
Yes, the home front. What are the core values from the home? What are the core values in our parental approach? The first education begins from there. He's talking about the mind. And actually, it's all about how those minds were educated from the onset. Somebody was telling us the other time, because I've been privileged to have been in one or two, three countries out of it. And you discover, in fact, let me give you an instance. There is this, the 10 Commandments, there is a place that says, thou shalt not steal.
Yeah.
in Germany, they took it to deeper
To
dimension.
a higher dimension.
Part of thou shalt not steal in their core values is that if you are a worker and you step out of the office to go and do something personal without obtaining permission from your superior, you have stolen the time of the company.
I'm afraid I'll have to pause you there because we have to go on this very important break. In case you just don't know, it is Flip Side on Independent Television. When we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still Flip Side on Independent Television. And right before we went on that break, Mr. Nnamdi was taking us on a journey on the reason there seems to be this divisive syndrome amongst us in Nigeria. You could take it from there, sir.
Yeah, like I was talking about Germany and what they have inculcated, the core values from the upbringing, from the homes and all of that. So I think those two basic things, the issue of the home and the issue of our education, where we need to have our minds reset by the inculcation of those values. Somebody was telling us the other day that he flew to a country, I've forgotten the nation, and he forgot his laptop. He was working something there, and then the person that will pick him up, the taxi driver, came and he just picked his bags and forgot that not a laptop, an iPad. It was when they were moving, he remembered they have gone a bit far. He screamed. The driver said, "What?" He said, He said, "Don't worry, you get it back." It was like, how? Why? They returned there, almost some kilometers journey, and they still saw it there, right there. Wow. So now these are values that have been inculcated from the home front and down to the educational sector. So we need to get to those foundational backgrounds to get things, because the truth of the matter is that the people that are in the leadership in Nigeria today that have brought us to where we are today came from somewhere. They didn't fall from somewhere. They came from a home. They came from a society. So we need to really revisit what are we doing in our home front? How are we parenting the children? Like I said, I don't know how many schools that are still doing that today, that when they are giving people certificates, they say character and learning. Yeah. So which means it has to come from the character first. So we need to revisit that aspect. The parental aspect of our society is playing a whole lot of issues about what we are seeing in the larger society today. We need to revisit it. In fact, for since long vacation till last Sunday that I was privileged to address a church, I kept begging. I said, this is a plea from me. All the platforms have been privileged to plead with them. I said, it's high time we established parenting committees in our places, where people who are planning to get married should be tutored on how to parent children. I think that's a major place we are missing it. For me, that is flowing out to the larger society.
I think you have a very, very salient point there, because we were told when we were in primary school, I think, that the family is like the primary stage of socialization. So once you get it right on the family level, it just trickles down to all other parts of society. Now, Favor, let's get right into the discourse. Reports have it that the Independence Day parade has been cancelled by the presidency. Now, what do you think is the rationale behind that decision? And don't you think that would take away from the independence celebratory spirit?
Well, it's hard to hear, because how many celebrations do we really even have? How many times does the country come together in oneness to celebrate something? We see a lot of bigotry, we see a lot of tribalism, we see a lot of corruption here and there, and the few things that would bring people together have also been removed. And the question is where do we go from here? When we're younger, we get to see this, this fanfare, this spirit of wearing the green, white, green, going to the stadium. And sometimes for those who cannot make the stadium, you stay by the road and you see the motorcade as they go, you wave your flag.
You could literally feel the excitement in the air.
You know something is happening. Even as a child, Oktoberfest is significant. Go and ask the children of nowadays about Oktoberfest. They are not even interested. All they want to be concerned about is TikTok. I mean, what's trending on TikTok? What's with Nigeria? No, it's not their business, because if the institutions that are supposed to be authorities does not make it significant, then you can't force it on anybody. So they first need to take the lead. But unfortunately, they've removed every possibility of that celebration to be done. It's not just about October 1st. Have you seen how Christmas is being celebrated now? Have you seen how Easter, New Year? So the spirit of celebration has died down. The only place I think I know celebrations happen now is every Friday in clubhouses or lounges. If you go there, there's serious celebration. Maybe sometimes when churches gather and do their,
harvest and stuff.
That's the only time you see people
come together.
In football, that was supposed to bring people together. We don't have anything to celebrate there anymore. In fact, before the tournament, we already know we are going to lose. So you just celebrate the wins of other people, and you mourn yours in advance.
And lick your wounds.
And trust me, you never get to be disappointed.
Mr. Kingsley, what's your take on that? Don't you think that has to do with the economic situation? Because, see, a lot of people are not smiling. So when you ask some persons about, or when you mention independence to them, the first question they ask you is, what's there to celebrate? Is it hunger? Is it hardship? So what don't you think that has something to do with it as well?
I agree with him completely, because if you don't have money in your pocket or in the bank, what are you celebrating? If you're not even sure of the next meal, what are you now celebrating? The cost of living now is on the high, and very few persons can afford some level of enjoyment or leisure. So I think the president, in his own wisdom, just looked at the mood of the country and decided that there's really nothing to celebrate for now. Maybe next year, maybe there's something he's planning that will make people to celebrate. But be that as it may, there's some few things, like I said earlier when we were still off camera, there's some few things he has done right. And I am someone that, even if I don't like your person, it doesn't take me from being objective. I think for the very first time since the era of Ali, students who are brilliant can go to school and not be afraid of the school fees or where to get school fees to pay. That's already operational for those who are not aware. And for the harmonization of the foreign currency, I think we've done fairly okay. Having dual exchange rate was the height of corruption. It's unheard of. And even the removal of subsidy is also a plus, even though I don't like the way it was implemented. The way we went about it was not the best. But then, it's a plus. It's just that because we don't plan and we do things based on sentiment, it has become like a problem. When you're going to do something that will have a very serious impact on the populace, you have to be very strategic. Most of our leaders lead purely on sentiment, no clear blueprint of what they want to do and how they intend to achieve it. It's not after you have removed the subsidy, you are now ordering for CNG buses. The person you are trying to salvage may have died before your CNG buses arrive. And in some countries, life is the most valuable, let me know what commodity, is the most valuable thing. They value life above any other thing. They can deploy resources of $1 billion to save one life. You don't create a problem that have taken several lives before you now start like medicine after death. That's the way I see it. But be that as it may, it's a plus. It's a plus. Like I was telling my colleague earlier, you know what obtains before when you had dual exchange rate is for me to know this young man as the CBN governor is my good friend. I need like $10 million US. He gives it to me without sweating for anything. I just take it to the nearest bureau de change, and I'm already a multi-billionaire without working. You can't encourage such and expect the nation to flourish. So we have done so many things wrongly. Trying to correct them now drastically is going to be very painful for so many persons. And so many persons may not even survive the change because they were not well thought out. So be that as it may, I felt maybe he has looked at the way things are generally and he felt there's really not much to celebrate. So let us suspend the celebration.
Okay, so you think it may have been well thought out?
I think so. I think maybe he has something he's planning for us to see in the next year's celebration. For this one, You can go around the city, it's quiet.
I think let's hope it's just a sober reflection that will yield some positive result. Okay, but a quick one. How would you describe Nigeria's foreign policy since 1960? Do you think it has been in our favor, or it's a case of favoring the outsider more than home?
When you say foreign policy, we don't talk about independence.
Yeah.
Are we really independent? That is the issue. I think Nigeria is among the very few countries that are so blessed to be able to survive on our own without even much interference.
Okay.
We have the arable lands, we have the mineral resources, we have the human resources, we have everything.
Okay.
The unfortunate thing is that we've not been able to manage it, like you said when you're talking about the managing your resources, the way it should be managed.
All right, I would love to pause you there, because this break is very crucial. When we return, Mr. Kingsley will continue from where he stopped. Please stay tuned. Yes, it's good to have you back. It's still Flipside on Independent Television. And before we went on that break, we were trying to examine Nigeria's foreign policy since 1960. Mr. Kingsley, you were, saying something in that regard.
Okay, let me look at it from these two platforms. One, economically. There's this law we have always drafted on local content. You find out that most of the time they are not really taken seriously. Of recent, Dangote made an importation of trucks. About 4, 5, or going to 10,000. He has ordered for.
Of trucks.
And none of those trucks were made in this country. And I believe we have the capacity to make such trucks, CNG trucks. Yeah. That is actually sending your hard-earned foreign currency to another country. It's a massive importation.
Money that could have been made here.
Yes. And the laws have not addressed the issue of local content the way it should be done and implement appropriately so that we promote the local skills that we have here. So economically wise, we have not done well. We are still an importing country. We are still not a producing country. We're still too dependent. I talked about this the last time when the House of were ordering for cars. All the cars were ordered from Japan.
Or is it that we do not have the resources to,
We have the resources. We have the indigenous car manufacturing companies within our country. But your policies have not told those who are bringing things from outside, no, this car. There was a time when Peugeot was the official car for all government staff.
True.
Without Peugeot, you can't buy something else except Peugeot. And we had that as a policy, and it helped the car industry to flourish. It also brought down costs.
This same corruption factor was in existence. So what changed?
It was not that bad.
Okay,
the
so
corruption of the late 70s, early 80s cannot be compared to what we have now. In fact, that's a child's play. For me, there was not like corruption in the early 80s. Sincerely speaking, there was nothing like that. What we have now is not even corruption. It's like a system. It has no definition because, like he said, it's beyond just the government or leadership. Somebody traces it to the home. Some trace it to the mind, the people, even from those of us on the streets. It's everywhere.
So you're saying that corruption has been institutionalized?
Exactly. There's nothing like the leaders are corrupt. It's beyond that. Within the family, there's corruption. You see the husband give the wife will demand for an amount of money that is not needed because she has added extra for baby wig or for ashwebi without telling the husband.
And that's corruption.
Is that not corruption? Then there's money in her custody. He tells her there's no money in the house. The other one is stranded. He goes to borrow, and the wife has money in the account. Is that not corruption? When the husband has money, it's our money. When the wife has money,
it's her money.
It's her money. So you see, it's a bad thing. It's a mind thing. Like we have to really, the mind has to really change before we can get it right. So we didn't have something like corruption. I don't think so in the early 80s. What we have now is monumental. It's like you said, it's not a child's play now. What we have now, we will need a divine purging,
a miracle
to solve it. Then you look at it politically, the image of the citizens outside this country is terrible. The way we are searched at entering and exit ports, it's as if we are criminals. So it means they have not been able to portray the country in good light. Because what they see is that our people keep shipping our resources there. Somebody mentioned one day on air, I think it was the Prime Minister of Britain, Nigeria is fantastically corrupt, or who was it that said that? Can you imagine that coming from outside the country? It shows we are not seen as people that can be trusted. And that's why you see some countries give limitation to visas. Once you are a Nigerian, for you to secure visa becomes a problem. Why?
process
They
is
believe that every
stricter.
average Nigerian is corrupt.
It's corrupt.
And it's bad. So, I mean, foreign-wise, politically, our images are being battered by what the government have been doing, what some of our persons have been doing. And the government has not to bridge that gap. If there's an issue with an American person, no matter how guilty he or she is, the American government will intervene. That's just the truth. In Nigeria, you see what happens even in Libya, the way we are treated. Recently in Ghana is protesting we should go home. It's an embarrassment. I felt very sad, Ghana, asking us to go home. It's a shame. We need to really work on our foreign policies to ensure that anywhere Nigerians are found, they should know that the government of Nigeria will not take it lightly if they are maltreated. You can cut off trade for a single person. It's that serious. But here we don't mind. Somebody who can expert will be in our own country, working in our own country on our soil,
And be oppressing
oppressing our
people.
citizens. And people will throw a blind eye to it, and it doesn't really matter. It's unheard of. It can't happen in some countries. You can't come to my country and make me a slave. And you now see our military men guiding the expatriates,
yeah.
beating their fellow
Citizens, yeah.
to appease the white man. It's really bad. So for policy for me, I think they've not done well. For me, they've not done well. I don't think they've done anything that is good. We need to change a lot of things economically. We need to change a lot of things politically, and ensure that nations have respect for us and treat us the way we should be treated. That's my take on that.
Thank you so much, sir. Favor, Ghana's legendary nationalist of late that goes by the name of Kwame Nkrumah talked about neocolonialism. Now, much of what Mr. Kingsley just said, I think borders on the fact that a lot of us, let me not say Nigerians because I am also a Nigerian, right? But a lot of us seem to have this Stockholm syndrome where we tend to glorify anything that comes from the West over ours. Imagine the scenario he just painted of the military guarding the expatriate against their own fellow citizens. Don't you think that is a clear reflection of self-hate?
Well, I wouldn't call it self-hate. You cannot remove poverty in all of this discourse. A lot of us are poor.
So you think poverty is a factor here?
We want to survive. I, you, and him or they are thinking of the next food to eat. So whoever provides the next food for me to eat becomes the God. So I cannot go against the will of my God as at that time.
Yeah, quote unquote.
So he who holds the food controls the every other thing. So it is a case of these people know that the Westerners have a lot of resource. They control a lot of resource, both worldwide or globally. Now the question is, what do we have to offer? What is our value, either as a nation or as an individual? But most times, if you notice, I don't even want to speak as a nation. Let's talk as individuals. So if we sit here today and we bring people of other nations to sit with us and say, okay, you, what can you offer? Let's bargain on this table of negotiation. What do you have to offer? And you look at yourself and be like, I really do not have anything. Do you know that as a graduate of universities in Nigeria, that if you do a census and take a stats of, say, maybe 100 or 200 persons and say, okay, how many of you can prepare a good resume? You might be shocked at what you discover. Now, these are fresh graduates, or these are people who have even graduated and done their NYSC. Tell them to prepare a CV. If the institutions are what they are supposed to be, maybe most of these business centers wouldn't have jobs. Do you know a lot of persons can even type? Do you know a lot of persons can even make a good document on Microsoft Word? So when you look at all of these factors, you realize that then, since I know I don't have much to offer, and I know this person can give me so much, even by contributing little or being physical, then let's be physical.
In other words, everyone is acting on survival mode.
Yes, because I am hungry. This is not about making an impression. This is not about making an impact. This is not about changing the nation. Nobody is really interested in changing the nation. They are only interested in changing their pockets and their bank status. So you come and tell me, oh, let's do things right, when I know doing it the wrong way will give me my tomorrow for sure. No, now that negotiation is off the table. Let's kill ourselves, because the more I kill you, the more my alert is secured. After all, it is about what? Money. Why are you here? Money. So there's a lot we need to consider, and this problem is starting from the home, just like you said, and just like I've said in previous discourse. The home. If you X-ray the practices in our homes, you realize that Nigeria is just a reflection of what we are in our homes. And if you leave the home, the next place you get to sometimes is school or the church. What do we find in these places? Are these places what they are supposed to be? The answer is no. So you see people who are corrupt. We know evidently that they are corrupt. We know that these people are bad. But do they still have supporters? Yes. Do they still have people supporting, clapping for them? Yes.
And why is that? Is it because such people are beneficiaries of the system?
Exactly.
That's what I've been saying. That if I know my guy is a bad man, a wicked man, but my guy at the end of the month, I will still get my 100,000 naira salary. You think I'll tell my guy is a bad man? When my guy comes out, he's a good man. I can never find anything wrong with my guy.
Probably even be singing his praises to the high heavens.
I'll rent a 2 hype man on his behalf, and we'll be shouting everywhere you go. I can never say he's a bad man. But you see the other man that cannot give me, when I go to meet and he gives me advice instead of money, he's the bad man. So when I come to you and say, please help me, and you say, no, I think you should go and do something better with your life. I say, this person is a bad person. I come with you for money, they give me advice. But if I go and meet this person now, a known fraudster, come on.
They'll give you more, even if the advice is more valuable than the money.
That volume is too low for this discourse.
Advice I go chop.
Now, advice we go chop.
Thank you so much, Favor. That was quite a hilarious and interesting one. Now, Mr. Nnamdi, do you subscribe to that? Do you think it's actually a function of hunger per se, or some persons are just flat out greedy? Because some people are, okay, fine, we understand that the system is bad and a lot of people are hungry, but there are some persons who actually are better off, right? They are more comfortable. But for some funny reason, they just have this mindset of wanting to have it all and, gather as much as possible.
Get all you can, sit all you can.
So don't you think that's also a factor?
I just remember, we were just talking, I was reflecting on where I came from to this place now. By the way, let me just wish Foursquare Gospel Church 70th anniversary celebration, where I'm coming from right now, where I belong. We are just at the ring road, and while all the praise and whatever going on, we're doing a crusade, I just moved around a little. And as usual, I was beginning to see these young people in their teens. Majority of them I saw were teens, sleeping in some hidden grasses. Sleeping. Seeing them by the time we arrived there, I knew they slept there overnight. And I began to think about the rain that fell where we are there. We gathered from different places, in the celebration of the 70th anniversary. Some of us came
65th anniversary.
70th anniversary.
Okay, okay, all right.
Now, we gathered at main gate here. Some people came from Sapele Road, just wherever we are. It's about 50 churches here, so we came from different places. Right at that pedestrian bridge in Uniben, some young people slept there over the night. Now, looking at these whole issues, it's still boiled down. For me, poverty, yes, plays out, but it's still the matter of the mindset. For me, I kept asking myself, what are the core values of Nigeria? If we are to, yes, Nigerian pledge, Nigerian anthem, what are the core values? I don't think I know them.
Do we even have
I don't know whether we have
core values on paper, like is it written core values?
I don't think we have them. I don't know them. I don't know them.
We can draw them from our pledge.
So we have a very big, so it's not, somebody threw something from his car one day, and I went to him, I just drove a little and saw, I said, Bini date you, I see the date. He said, "Na me date here before." So I had this one and come. I say, "They add the joint." He said, "I got come out." He left. No remorse, nothing. I was teaching in a school a few days ago in the assembly. I said to them, if you see a driver that beats traffic lights, that's the problem of Edo State. That's the problem of Nigeria we're talking about. I was just trying to see, how do we work? How do we I went to Abidjan City some time ago, Ivory Coast, and I met the way their policemen, because Daddy here just mentioned about African country here. And I saw their policemen, the way they were walking, so smart. So if they tell you that policemen they're looking for you in Ivory Coast, you just go and report yourself. There's no need. If you come back home and see a note on your door, just go and report yourself, because the way they track people. So one day I was concerned, so I called them.
Just before you continue with that story, Mr. Nnamdi, we have to go on this very last break. When we return, it will be time to wrap things up on the program. Please stay tuned. Yes, it's great to have you back. This is the final lap of Flipside on Independence Television. Yeah, the Independence edition of the program. Now, before we went on that break, Mr. Nnamdi, you were talking about
the policemen I met in Abidjan. And they told me, surprisingly, that they were trained by Nigerian police.
Okay.
I was so shocked. Saying, you're walking like this. And I look at the whole thing, I discovered I think we have strong men here and very weak institutions. I think that's part of what we are going through. We were talking about poverty and all of that. You know, there was a time Elijah in the Bible was talking about he was the only man standing, and God told him there are about 7,000 who are not bowed to me. So I think what we need to start trusting God for is there are Nigerians who still believe in this country and believe that things can change.
So still have the right value system.
Yes, we need to trust God to get such people to the office. Yes.
Okay.
So, and things will start changing. That's just, because I was bothered some months ago when I had somebody praying a prayer. And when he prayed, everybody was shouting amen. I said, have we come to this? He said, may Nigeria not happen to you. I said, has it become a prayer point? May Nigeria not happen to you. I said, no. Have we got to this point? So we need to trust God that, see, for instance, one of the core values of my family is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 1 from the Holy Book, the Bible. A good name
is better than riches.
It's better than riches.
Okay.
And so I tell anybody, my father was not a rich man before he done all of that, but I've discovered one thing, that when I go to places and mention either my father or my mother's name, something will just happen. If the persons know them, especially within my environment there.
Okay.
Last 2 years or so, my two daughters went for they went for a program, a youth camp. When they got there, as they were registering, the person in charge of registration around Sapele, close to Sapele, just immediately he saw Nazarite, because that's the surname they answered. He said, your father, is it the one that used to mention? I said, yes, that's my father. I said, you two of you wait here. Took the two of them and gave them VIP treatment. He didn't put them in the open hostel.
The power of a good name.
Power of a good name. Up till now, I don't know who the person is.
All right, thank you so much.
So I think we need to start, for me, what I want to drop on this platform is that we need to think about the core values we need to start working on.
Okay.
Nigeria can still be okay.
Can still work.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Kingsley, what would be your parting words to the average Nigerian out there, especially the ones that have given up on Nigeria, the ones that are not on the street celebrating the Independence Day? So I believe there's a reason for that. So what would be your advice for such people?
Well, we're short of time. I would have loved to talk about what he said, but then they say everything rises and falls on leadership. I agree with what you have said, poverty, education, and the rest of it all. Once you have a good leader, you have a good country. I was reading what Gaddafi did when he was alive. I was shocked to find out that Libyans don't pay for tuition fees from birth to graduation. Medical fees covered. Want to get training, extra training outside the country, covered. You have any ailment that cannot be addressed within the country, it's paid for by the government. You are out of school, you have no job, you are paid your worth, not because you are working, but your worth of what you have studied. You want to buy a house, 50% of the money is given to you by the government. And the president said, or Gaddafi said, I will remain in a rented apartment till all Libyans have a place to stay. And for every sale of crude oil they make, as an indigenous or a citizen of that country, there's an amount that accrues to your personal account. Why would you not be loyal to that system or to that country that caters for your entire well-being, that caters for your future? You will be.
True.
But we are not poor. That's where we miss it. We are not poor. What is happening to us is bad leadership. People taking much more than they can chew at the detriment of so many. And as long as those people feel cheated, we'll have insecurity, we'll have unemployment, we'll have people praising, like you said, fraudsters, 419ers, because they're the ones holding the bulk of the money. And he said, he who pays the piper dictates it.
Okay.
That is it.
So on the final,
we must change leadership. We must have the right leadership, and there's a way to go about that. I can't say that now. We don't have the time.
Yeah.
We must get the right person on board.
Okay.
There was a time when someone like Idaman was on board, although was an assistant to our departed Buhari.
Okay.
You saw the way it was. I was caught one day dumping refuse on the wrong place. I was asked to refill. In fact, I filled back the bag of refuse, packed the dirt into the car. My father driver that went with me. We load our. The milkman just stopped. Say load the car with dirt. We were packing those refuse back. Discipline.
All right.
And it worked because there was a leadership that says indiscipline will not be tolerated, and it worked. So we are not really lawless. We just that we don't have those who are leading us right. That's why I see it.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Favor, we actually do not have time, but in less than 30 seconds, what would be your parting word to the average Nigerian out there, today being the 65th independence anniversary?
Well, keep the faith. Whether we like it or not, we are poor. And not until we start telling ourselves the truth, we'll not progress and will not go anywhere.
Okay. When you say poor, you mean just
mindset,
in terms of
poor.
resources? Or?
Collectively, we may not be poor, but individually, we are poor.
Okay.
That's just the sad truth. Okay. So like I said, not until we accept the truth, you can go back and work on the truth. But if we keep lying to ourselves that we have, you can be in the river and still be tasty, you know, right?
Yeah, true.
So when water is not clean, would you drink?
No.
At that case, would I still say you have a lot of water? So what are we not saying? So please, Nigerians, the baton is on us to take it to the next level of sincerity and purpose. Discipline will help, will go a long way. That's my take.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your very amazing insights. You guys have said a whole lot, and I must say I'm already feeling, rejuvenated and feeling like a Nigerian, because the spirit with which we started this conversation has has matured. I'm happier now, and I'm also confident that there are lots of Nigerians out there that feel the same way. It's Independence Day, and just in case you are not happy, just in case you feel a certain kind of way, well, you are a Nigerian, and you need to understand that it's an amazing feeling, because Nigeria is, despite the fact that we are dealing with lots of issues, being a Nigerian is actually a privilege, because there are certain places you go to, and the moment you just mention that you are a Nigerian, people will look at you in a certain way. We still command a certain level of respect in spite of the level of corruption that we're facing in Nigeria. Okay, so keep your head up high, keep hope alive, and be the change that you desire. I know we all desire change. We want a better Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is that nothing will happen if we do not change. Just like the late Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror, I'm telling him to change his ways. So if you want a change, look in the mirror. Whatever it is you desire in Nigeria, be that change. And I can assure you that if we all do this simple exercise, it's going to start reflecting on the national level. My name is Harry Aigboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and bye for now.